Many people know Brazil for its World Cup winning soccer team, but many do not know that Brazil is a country with a nearly perfect climate and exciting religious traditions. Today I will share with you some interesting facts and traditions of a country I've grown to love, Brazil. After visiting Brazil twice, I loved the country, so I thoroughly enjoyed researching and learning more about the unique country. First, I will tell you about the geography of Brazil. Second, I will give you a brief description of Brazilian culture, and lastly, I will share some of their interesting social customs. Let me start by telling you about the geography of Brazil. As said by John Vincent in Cultures and Customs of Brazil, Brazil is a continent. We obviously know Brazil is not a continent, but due to its massive size, it is often compared as such. Brazil is almost 3 times the size of India. Even though it is a huge country, the entire country has a perfect climate. Brazil experiences no typhoons, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, blizzards, forest fires, or volcanoes. As mentioned by Robert Levine in The History of Brazil, earlier explorers called Brazil an earthly paradise. Brazilians also practice regionalism due to the massive size of the country. This means people are identified by where they are from in Brazil, just as we refer to people as a Texan or as a Southerner. Now that you know a little about the geography and climate of Brazil, let me tell you about things you would experience if you were to travel there. Before traveling to a country like Brazil, there are a few things you should know. Unlike most Latin American countries, Brazilians do not speak Spanish. They speak Portuguese. To an untrained ear, Portuguese might sound like Spanish, but they are completely different languages. In fact, Brazilians often do not identify themselves as a Latin American country, because every country surrounding them is a Spanish-speaking country. Brazilians also practice a social class system much like ours in the U.S. The country has an upper, middle, and lower class system. The upper class are the very wealthy and powerful people of Brazil, while the middle class is comfortable and lives in suburbs of major cities. The major difference from the U.S. is the lower class. These people are often very poor, even compared to our lower class in the U.S. These people often live in villages or lower populated areas along the Amazon River. Now that you know a little about the language and social classes of Brazil, let me tell you about some of their interesting traditions. Any sports fan will know that soccer is a huge part of Brazilian culture. In 1994, the visit of the Pope drew a huge crowd of 300,000 people to Rio. But in 2002, when the Brazilian soccer team was welcomed home after winning their 5th World Cup, the turnout was 500,000 people to welcome the team home. Rio is also home to the world's largest soccer stadium, where many gather to watch the team they love. Soccer is popular in Brazil because it is an easily taught game that requires very little equipment. Rich or poor, anyone can participate in a game of soccer. Another one of the most defining traditions in Brazil is their yearly festival called Carnival. Carnival is the most popular religious festival in Brazil and is celebrated the 3 days leading up to Ash Wednesday. The festival frees Brazilians of all responsibilities and social standings. It is a time of celebration which includes parades, floats, dance, and costumes. Those outside of Brazil often characterize Carnival as the world's biggest party. Now that I have told you about the geography, customs, and social traditions of Brazil, let me conclude. First, I told you about the perfect climate and geography of Brazil. Then I told you about the language and social classes of the country. And lastly, I shared a few traditions of the Brazilian lifestyle. From all this information, I hope I've interested you in traveling to Brazil, which is a beautiful and traditional country. Thank you. Woo!